Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We are live, so get your comments in if you decide to get your comments in. Yeah, look, a 2-0 defeat, largely up against it in the first half, but I thought we did well to hang on in there. But in terms of the lineup, he basically took Finn Azaz out and put Troy Parrott in there. We'd all been calling for Troy to be brought in there, and I don't think Troy had his best game. He struggled, let's be honest, up there. I thought Evan Ferguson done all right and maybe should have been given a penalty in the first couple of minutes. I know if that was given against us, we would have thought it was soft, but that was our only real chance of note in the first half. And look, we were up against it in a really hostile place. You could see maybe the heat was getting to the players as well, but you could see that it was a horrible place to go, and their fans were really making it a cauldron for our players. And I just felt as though at times we just really struggled to get out from defence. And I do think like Kelleher was absolutely outstanding throughout the game, ignoring his mistake at the end. But I do think that first half he was absolutely excellent. It's tough to lose 2-0 in the end, because when we did go a goal down, and I don't want to go too far ahead, I'm trying to stay in the first half, but like we made so many good blocks and just done everything we can to keep the ball out of our net, and we just kind of showed our old kind of way of playing from an Irish point of view in terms of blocking goals, getting in the way, stopping us from conceding silly, stupid goals, which ultimately happened in the second half. Maybe not so much the first goal, but like the fact that we managed to keep it quite tight and not concede before halftime, I was impressed with. I'm not going to lie. I do think we can learn a lot from this game, but I do think it's important to note that the scoreline probably doesn't really reflect our performance in terms of how well we actually defended and how much we got players' bodies on the line. We had to kind of galvanise and defend. We didn't have much chances, but to be able to take that into the half time at 0-0, I do think that was impressive. To concede straight away after half time, which seems to be an ongoing thing with this Irish team, and I don't know what it is. It always seems to be that sort of area where the ball will drop to a player, he gets a free strike at goal. In fairness to Scales, he does try to get across, and I think it's actually his deflection that probably just makes it go past Kelleher, because the form Kelleher was in before that, he probably would have saved it. Yeah, look, it's we knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. We knew that we were we knew that we were going to be the inferior side in this case, and we knew that if we were going to get something, it was going to be keeping the game as close as possible that we could, to then I suppose try get a snatch a draw or something like that towards the end. And I do think Hamer did bring on subs at the right time, but they didn't really have the impact maybe that he would have wanted. Like I know Festi, when he first came on, he really impressed, but he seemed to lack belief in himself to take on the fullback as the game kind of progressed. I think the defender got the better of him a couple of times and he got frustrated pushing one of them over. And then it was kind of in his head at that point, whereas the other night when he came on against Finland, he didn't allow that to happen. He just kind of played his game, got on with it, and he was a bit clever. I think he was a little bit of an ace up the sleeve of Hamer against Finland, but maybe Greece done their homework on him. And Jack Taylor, I thought, done really well coming on for his debut. Showed some real good glimpses there, and I think we'll see the best of him going forward. But he did put himself about. I think Josh Cullen done well in the midfield as well, trying to get on the ball and trying to make things happen. It was a tough night for Jason Knight. I felt it was a tough night for the defence as a whole. Dara O'Shea was up against Zolis a lot of the time. Done all right in the end, as I said. Look, Scales was really good. Collins, I thought, was really good. I thought, like, look, ultimately it's 2-0, and it's not going to sound great, but ultimately, like, our players did not play badly. And I know everyone's just going to harp on results, unfortunately, but I definitely saw for the majority of the second half, we were the better side. The first half, they were the better side, undoubtedly. But for the second half, I thought we were actually the better side. When he made the subs, when he took off the Evan Ferguson, who, look, again, I think there's a lot of pressure expected of him, and he doesn't look fit at the minute. And I think once he does get fit, I think we'll start seeing him scoring goals and stuff for us again. But but it's a lot for us to expect someone of his age to kind of just come straight in and be the world beater. We're all guilty, probably, I suppose, of feeling that way. And I myself has been calling for Troy Parrott to get a run, but he didn't justify a starting spot tonight. Now I did wonder why Adam Eda didn't come on towards the end in maybe the 80th minute for Troy. I thought that might have been the right sub to make there because he has a habit of coming off the bench for Celtic and scoring in and around that time. So I just thought that would have made a bit more logical sense in that scenario. But ultimately, he didn't do that. I mean, uh, like Troy, he just looked a yard off. I don't know why, because he has looked sharp for AZ. I don't know why. Just tonight, it just didn't happen for him up front. Jack Taylor, the brilliant header. If he sticks that either side of the goalkeeper, it's probably a goal. It's probably 1-0. It was a great ball in. I think it was Darrow. No, it was Josh Cullen with the cross. Um, but yeah, it's frustrating, but lads, come on, like, let's be honest. We know that Greece are a better side than us at the moment. They've beaten us now 4 times in the last 4 games, and even with players out and stuff like that, I don't know. They're just further along in their development than we are, and they know how to get results. I don't see us going to England and getting a result at Wembley the way they did. Like, that was brilliant by them. Fair play to them. I could see us beating Finland, 3 defeats in 4 games. Dazza says not 4. Sorry, my head's all over the gaff today. But you know what I mean? It's like we've struggled against them, basically, is what I was trying to say there. And they've looked good. Like, let's be honest. Greece, as much as they don't have world better, they're a really, really good side. They're a really good team, and that's what we need to get to become, I believe, over time. That's what we need to get back to. Is our always now. The defending was like that in the first half. We were really up against it in the first half, and then we really improved, and then we started getting bodies forward. Robbie Brady started kind of pushing up and getting into good positions. He wasn't really given the ball in those positions, but he was still making the runs and trying to create that space nonetheless. And then a lot of the times the ball was going out to Festi on the right hand side, which I had no problem with. But the problem was then Festi started losing belief in himself, and poor Sammy Smolix, as much as he gives for the team, and same with Ogbene, it at times can be a bit unjust, and I suppose a bit frustrating for them, because they're doing so much defensively that they're expected then when we go on the attack to try and, just make something happen. And then we're so deep, and then they're trying to get forward, or trying to get up to a striker, and they're just completely knackered by the time they get up there. So it is tough. It's a tough L graph for our wingers to play this system. So we need to have like for likes ready. And I think Hamer's done well in terms of when he's bringing on subs, because I think the subs that he has brought on at times have made the impact. And I think that's look, we know at the end of the game that Kelleher makes that mistake, and he makes that mistake. I don't know what he was thinking trying to pass that ball out. At that time, I think you just go long to try and get the ball up the pitch as close to their goal as possible at that time. Any other time, I suppose, it's fine to play out, and that's the risk you take. I'm just looking at the stats here. I mean, the ball possession, they had 55% compared to our 45%. They had 2 big chances and probably scored both of them. We had 1 big chance, but they did have 21 total shots and we had 8. And then Queeveen made 5 saves, with 5 each for corners, 17, 14 for fouls to us, and their passes 475 to 381, 16 tackles to our 12, and then 17 free kicks to our 13, and they had 2 yellow cards. We had none. So yeah, as you can see there with the stats, they were probably better than us in most departments there, and that's ultimately how they ended up winning the game. And look, let's in all respect, Greece are a good side, and they were playing for a lot there in terms of George Baldock, and you can see how much it meant to their players. Those 2 wins, not defeats, those 2 wins were great for them in terms of their togetherness, and they seem like a good bunch. Their fans seem like a good bunch as well. We've had plenty of well wishes from their fans over the course of this international break, and we obviously know Stephen from Hellas Footy, who always has nice things to say about Ireland and stuff like that. Yeah, but Look, to be honest with you, I'm not that downhearted over this window. I do think the game against Finland was a shift in mentality and a shift in kind of, right, this is the way we're going to play. We're going to be more direct. We're going to be more progressive in our press. I don't know if you watched the RTE stuff beforehand, and it did show kind of the second half how we were so good in the press in the second half, and there was if someone made a dodgy touch, the players were in, and Josh Cullen was winning balls high up and stuff like that. That intensity, it's hard to do over the course of 90 minutes, and it's hard to get a message across with so little training sessions. But I do think that there was signs there that we are improving as a team, and I think a few people are coming into the comments and saying that there. Conor McGrath is Troy Parrott played 90 minutes and is shocking stuff. 6 goals in 10 games in the Mickey Mouse Dutch League is not as impressive as what people see. I hear what you're saying in a sense, because I was calling for him to be starting as well. But I do think that he is coming in form. You know what I mean? So you can see why the manager's picking him. We want our strikers to be in form. Evan's not in form. I think if he might have been in form, he probably scores that chance where he probably is it a soft penalty to one of them. If it was given against us, we'd be raging, let's be honest. So yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and have to defend all our players and stuff like that, but I do think I can see why he's picked the players he has. I'm impressed that we got the win. That he had the balls to drop the likes of Matt Doherty and bring in someone like Festi, who then ultimately made the difference in the first game against Finland. I think things can be turned around quite quickly. Like, everyone was all happy, joyful, and all. Then we lose today, and then it's doom and gloom again. I mean, the Greeks are coming into the comments there. Zobin Hanazaki says your defense was amazing today. Much love from Greece. That's what I mean. Is that the Greeks appreciate Ireland for what we are. Daza, I know you're there and you're feeling sorry for me and stuff like that. In terms of the result, I don't feel that down about this game, to be honest with you. I did feel like it was a game that we were gonna be stuck to get. I did predict a 1-1 draw at the time. Look, we kept it tight, especially the first half. Ultimately, it probably was a 1-0 game. If you finish it off before Kelleher's mistake, it would have been 1-0. Yeah, some good defending, some good. I thought the attitude of all the players was there to be seen, and I think ultimately we're not the finished article. We're not. We can't keep losing games and saying we're not the finished article. I respect that, but we have been drawn in pretty tough groups up until now. Obviously, the Nations League, I'm not counting that. Greece and England, and then Finland. I mean, we lost to Finland twice in our last Nations League meeting with them. So, look, for me, that's an improvement straight away. I think it would be nice to get a win against them again at home at the Aviva and take a little bit of momentum into the England game. Get some sort of a result at the England game. We might not, but go there and show something. And let's see how we go, because there's just no point. These players need us getting behind them more than ever now. And I think that they've shown and given us something to get behind with the Finland win. And now tonight, they did put their bodies on the line. They did try to get the result for us. And people don't respect Greece probably as much as they should. And they think that we just automatically have the right to go out and beat them, which we don't. We're not the same Irish team that we were years ago, where we had players playing at the top level in Premier League and so on. We're not the same team, but I do think Hallgrimsson is definitely getting a tune out of these players. I do think that we will start seeing some results over the next while. So I would suggest stick with it. If you don't want to stick with it, then that's fair enough. That's your own choice. I'll be sticking with it, to be honest with you. But look, that's my match reaction. I'm not too disheartened about it. I can't think of anyone who hadn't, a bad game. And that's the sign of, like, we are having good performances. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here going, he had a stinker, he had a stinker. You can't name me one player on that pitch that had a stinker. Kelleher had an outstanding game. One mistake. That's the joys of being a goalkeeper. One mistake and, goal. Unfortunately, being a goalkeeper, it's ruthless. We know. Nobody's stupid. But this is where we're at now. We need to get behind the team. We need to realise that the team isn't, as I said, the team of old Mick McCarthy's first reign, where we had players like Roy Keane, who was one of the best players in the world, Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, Shay Given. These players playing at top level, John O'Shea, Richard Dunn, I could go on. But we don't have these types of players playing anymore. Hardly any other players are playing at top level. So these players need the fans. And that's just my opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm jumping off. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we're trying to get to that 17,000 subscribers. So if you could help us get there, that'd be fantastic. And we'll have more on the final word tomorrow. Myself and Tom will be back for that tomorrow evening, and we'll have a look and dissect this game down properly. But for now, that's it from me.